Perhaps no one in the city of Xuancheng ever imagined that a stray dog could make the entire place feel so much warmer. That day, when he was struck by a car and thrown into the roadside bushes, he didn't cry out. Perhaps he thought he wouldn't survive. But what awaited him was not an ending. It was the compassion of an entire city. He wasn't an ordinary stray. Huang, as he was known, had earned the nickname Station Master of Xuancheng Railway Station. He had no staff badge and didn't go to work like anyone else. Yet around the high-speed rail station, almost every taxi driver knew him. Every day, as crowds passed through the station entrance, he lingered near the taxi lane, wagging his tail whenever he saw a familiar face. At the end of their shifts, many drivers would leave him a bit of food. Over time, he was no longer just a stray. He became a familiar presence at the station. Then one day, without warning, the accident happened. Huang was hit by a car and thrown into the bushes, suffering multiple fractures. With 3 broken legs, he couldn't stand. The pain left him unable to move, yet he made no sound. Perhaps he understood that a dog without an owner might cry out and still no one would come. So he simply lay there, waiting as his strength slowly faded. The first to notice something was wrong were the taxi drivers. After not seeing him for several days, they began to worry and went looking for him. Some drove around searching, others checked on foot near the station, until finally, they found him lying in the bushes. What choked them up wasn't just his injuries, it was that when he saw them, he still managed to give a faint wag of his tail. That small gesture alone was enough to bring many to tears. Some abandoned their fares mid-ride, some stayed by his side, some called for rescue, and others kept calling his name. When the rescue team arrived, one driver brought out a sheet of paper. On it were names and amounts they had contributed, 20, 50, 100 yuan, about $3 to $14. Not much, but each number represented a portion of their daily earnings, exchanged for a chance to save Huang. At the hospital, the situation was even more serious than expected. 3 broken legs meant surgery, costing nearly 10,000 yuan, around $1,400. The mood grew heavy. If this question had been posted online, it might have sparked debate, but not a single person said it wasn't worth it. As the story spread, more drivers came. Some offered small bills, others sent a little more. Not because they were wealthy, but because they couldn't bear to let Huang, the little companion who stood by the station every day, simply disappear. When the hospital learned his story, they didn't just coldly quote the cost. They reduced the surgery fee by more than half, because what they saw wasn't just a case, it was countless ordinary people bringing together small acts of kindness. In the end, Huang was taken into surgery. None of the people waiting outside were his owners, yet every single one of them was waiting for him to live. The surgery was successful, his legs were repaired, and he survived. Perhaps he will never understand why simply standing at the station, wagging his tail a few times each day, made so many people care so deeply about him, nor will he know why those drivers, who spend their days working through sun and rain, were willing to earn less for a day just to wait for his safety. Because to them, he was no longer a stray. He had become a familiar part of their everyday lives, a quiet companion after long, exhausting hours, a small presence that brought unexpected warmth. Huang may not have had a home, but on the day he needed it most, all of Xuancheng became his home. And if anyone ever asks what it means for a city to be warm, the answer may not lie in its buildings or its lights, but in the moment when ordinary people choose to stop, stand together, and care for a small, fragile life like his.
Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. See you in the next one.